If you can answer yes to even one of the 6 questions in this video, there is a very good chance that Social Security owes you money right now, and nobody has told you. I am not talking about a few dollars here and there. For some of the people watching this, the number runs into the thousands. It arrives as a single deposit into your bank account, and then it becomes a bigger check every month for the rest of your life. Most people believe that the Social Security Administration automatically pays every dollar you are entitled to. That belief is wrong, and it is quietly costing millions of retirees real money. The system pays you what you ask for, and only what you ask for. If you never ask, the money simply sits there in Baltimore with your name on it. One yes is all it takes. So stay with me, because question 5 is the one that almost nobody knows about. And for many of you, it could raise your monthly deposit by more than $200 starting this year. Let me show you that this is real. Melissa Robbins is a retired teacher in Connecticut. For years, she and her husband received about $120 a month in Social Security, between the two of them. Her husband, a veteran, was getting $14. Then a rule changed. It was a rule that most people had never even heard of, and their payment jumped to $650 a month, plus a deposit that covered everything they had been shorted, going all the way back to January of 2024. She told the Connecticut Education Association that she and her husband were finally able to buy a car. Now here is the important part. Melissa did not win anything. She was owed that money the entire time. So keep her in mind, because question 1 is exactly what happened to her, and it may be happening to you or to someone in your family right now. Question 1. Did you or your spouse or a spouse who has passed away ever work as a teacher, a firefighter, a police officer, or a government employee in a job that came with a pension but did not pay into Social Security? If so, listen closely, because the biggest change to Social Security in 40 years has your name on it. On January the 5th of 2025, the Social Security Fairness Act was signed into law. It wiped out 2 old rules, called the Windfall Elimination Provision and the Government Pension Offset. For decades, those rules had been cutting the Social Security checks of public workers, and in many cases cutting the checks of their widows all the way down to nothing. The new law was made retroactive to January of 2024. By July of 2025, the Social Security Administration had already sent out more than 3 million payments, totaling $17 billion. And the average back payment was $6,710 per person. Going forward, the monthly increases vary quite a bit. The Congressional Budget Office estimated around $700 a month for affected spouses and close to $1,200 a month for surviving spouses. And the agency itself has said that some people are owed over $1,000 more every single month. Now here is the qualifying detail that the headlines skipped right over. This does not apply to every public worker. About 72% of state and local employees paid into Social Security all along, and for them, nothing changes. This applies only when the pension came from work where Social Security taxes were never taken out. And here is the detail that matters most of all. If you were already receiving a reduced benefit, the agency fixed your record automatically, and you should already have your money. But there is a second group, and this is exactly where people are losing money as we speak. Thousands of retirees, especially the widows of government workers, never applied for benefits at all. Under the old rules, their benefit would have been reduced to 0, so they figured, why bother? Those people are not in the system. The agency has no record to go back and fix. If that sounds like you, then you have to file an application yourself. And according to the agency's own website, back payments on a brand new application are generally limited to just 6 months before the month you file. Let me say that again, because it is the whole game. Not back to 2024. 6 months back from the day you finally pick up the phone. Every month you wait is another month of your own money that disappears for good. The number to call is 1-800-772-1213. And when the automated system asks what you need, you say the words, Fairness Act. Now, maybe you never worked for the government, and neither did your spouse. Do not go anywhere, because the next question is about a marriage that ended years ago, and it catches more people off guard than any rule I have ever covered. Question 2. Were you married for at least 10 years and are you now divorced? If the answer is yes, then you may be entitled to a monthly benefit based on your former spouse's earnings record, worth up to half of their full retirement amount. And here is the sentence that stops people in their tracks. Your former spouse will never know. The Social Security Administration does not notify them, does not need their permission, and does not touch their check in any way. Their benefit stays exactly the same. Their current spouse's benefit stays exactly the same. And nothing you claim comes out of anyone's pocket except the government's. Even if your divorce papers say that you gave up any claim to their Social Security, the agency has stated plainly that such clauses are worthless and are never enforced. So here are the rules, as they stand in 2026. The marriage must have lasted 10 full years, and that line is unforgiving because 9 years and 11 months simply does not count. You must be at least 62 years old. You must be unmarried right now, and your former spouse must be eligible for benefits, although they do not actually have to be collecting them yet. If they have not filed, you just need to have been divorced for at least 2 years, and then you can file on your own, without waiting on them for anything. The agency will compare the benefit from your own work record against the benefit from your former spouse's record, and it pays you the higher of the two, so filing costs you nothing, and it can only move your number up. Now, 2 honest warnings so you have the full picture. If you claim before your own full retirement age, the amount is permanently reduced. And unlike your own retirement benefit, this one does not keep growing if you wait past full retirement age. So there is no reason to delay beyond that point. Also, if you remarry, the benefit from your former spouse generally comes to an end. But if your former spouse has passed away, then everything I just told you gets bigger. And that brings us straight to question 3, the one that made the government's own watchdog step in. Question 3. Has your spouse passed away or a former spouse that you were married to for at least 10 years? If the answer is yes, then you may qualify for what is called a survivor benefit, worth up to 100% of what they were receiving, and you can start it as early as age 60 or age 50 if you are disabled. Claiming at 60 means a reduced amount, around 71.5%, and that figure grows the closer you get to your full retirement age. If you remarried after age 60, you still qualify. And under what is called the dual entitlement rule, the agency compares the survivor benefit against your own retirement benefit, and it pays you whichever one is higher. But here is what almost nobody at the local office will actually sit you down and explain. You do not have to take both benefits at the same time. There is a perfectly legal way to file where you take one benefit first and let the other one keep growing. For example, you might take the survivor benefit now, while your own retirement benefit earns delayed credits all the way up to age 70, and then you switch over to the bigger number. Choosing the wrong order can cost you tens of thousands of dollars over a retirement, and the agency is supposed to walk you through those options. Does that actually happen? Well, the agency's own Inspector General answered that question for us. Back in 2018, the Inspector General found that the agency had underpaid roughly $132 million to more than 9,000 widows and widowers aged 70 and older, simply because nobody told them that they could delay one of their benefits. And in April of 2026, just a few months ago, a brand new Inspector General audit found that 41% of the widows and widowers it reviewed were either paid incorrectly or had no record showing that anyone ever explained their filing choices to them. 41%. So if you have been widowed, here is what you do. Before you accept any benefit, you ask the agency to calculate both amounts for you, the survivor benefit and your own, at different starting ages, and you ask them to put it in writing. You are not being difficult. You are simply asking the question that the system is built to answer only when it is asked. This channel exists to catch exactly these kinds of rules the week they change, because they move faster than any one person can track alone. So if this is useful to you, go ahead and subscribe now, and let's keep moving, because question 4 explains a mystery deposit that some of you have already received without ever knowing why. Question 4. Did you start collecting Social Security before your full retirement age while you were still working a job? And did the earnings limit take a bite out of your checks? Here is how that limit works in 2026. If you are under full retirement age all year, the agency withholds $1 for every $2 you earn above $24,480. And in the year that you actually reach full retirement age, it becomes $1 for every 3 above 65,160. Now, plenty of channels will tell you that part and then stop right there and leave you feeling robbed. So here is the half of the rule that they always leave out. That withheld money is not gone. The month you reach full retirement age, the agency recalculates your benefit, and it gives you credit for every single month that it withheld, which means your check goes up for the rest of your life. And the agency sends you a letter explaining the increase. Most people never connect that letter to the money they lost years earlier. And there is a second engine working quietly in your favor, and it runs every year. The agency reviews the wages reported for every beneficiary, and if your latest year of work turns out to be higher than one of the 35 years used to calculate your benefit, it recomputes your check upward, retroactive to January of the following year, and it pays you the difference as back pay. That is the reason why some of you have opened your banking app, seen an unexplained deposit sitting next to a slightly bigger monthly amount, and just assumed it was some kind of mistake. It was not a mistake. It was your own money catching up with you. But this machine only works if your earnings record is correct. So log into your My Social Security account at ssa.gov and check that every year of your wages is actually there, because a single missing year quietly lowers your check until the day somebody fixes it. Now take a breath, because we have finally arrived at question 5, the one that I promised you at the very start, the rule that puts over $200 a month back into the checks of the people who qualify, and the one that the fewest people have ever heard of. Question 5. Is your monthly income under roughly $1,800 as a single person, or under roughly $2,500 as a married couple? If the answer is yes, then stop what you are doing, because this question is worth about $2,400 a year to you. Right now in 2026, the standard Medicare Part B premium is $202.90 a month. And for most retirees, it is quietly deducted from the Social Security check before the money ever reaches the bank. You may have stopped even noticing it years ago. Now, there is a set of programs called Medicare Savings Programs that will pay that premium for you. And when one of them approves you, the deduction stops, and your Social Security deposit goes up by the full $202.90, month after month. That alone is roughly $2,435 a year back in your pocket. The strongest version, called the Qualified Medicare Beneficiary Program, is for individuals with income up to about $1,350 a month, or $1,824 for couples. And it goes even further, because it also covers your deductibles and your copays, including the $283 Part B deductible. And once you are in it, doctors are legally barred from billing you for services that Medicare covers. Above that income, there are 2 more levels, one reaching to about $1,600 a month for a single person, and another to about $1,800, and both of them still pay that full Part B premium for you. Now, the top level runs on limited yearly funding, and states approve people in the order that they apply, and you have to reapply each year, which is just one more reason not to sit on this. And there is a bonus that comes attached to all of it, automatically. Enrollment brings you something called extra help for your prescription drugs, a benefit that the Social Security Administration values at around $5,700 a year, and it caps your copays at $5.10 for generics and $12.65 for brand names in 2026. Now, here is the honest fine print, because I always give you the full picture. The federal resource limits are $9,950 for a single person and $14,910 for a couple. But your home does not count, and your car does not count. And the limits I just gave you are only the federal floor. Many states are far more generous, and a few of them, like Massachusetts, have removed the asset test completely, and they allow incomes close to $3,000 a month. So if you are anywhere near these numbers, please do not disqualify yourself at the kitchen table. You apply through your state Medicaid office, and in some states, the approval reaches back up to 3 months and refunds what you already paid. Around 10 million people are already enrolled in these programs, And the government's own outreach groups say that millions more people qualify and have simply never applied. Millions of people walking right past $200 a month every month, only because no letter ever arrived telling them to pick it up. And that, right there, is the whole story of this video, captured in a single rule. The money exists, the rule is public, and the system is just waiting, quietly, for you to ask. Question 6. When you finally filed for your retirement benefit, were you already past your full retirement age, even by just a few months? Or are you past it right now and you still have not filed? If the answer is yes, then the agency allows you to claim up to 6 months of benefits retroactively, paid to you as a single lump sum, as long as none of those months fall before your full retirement age. On a $2,000 benefit, that is up to $12,000, landing in your account all at once. Now here is the honest trade-off, because I am never going to sell you half of a rule. Taking the full 6 months backward means giving up 6 months of delayed retirement credits, which permanently lowers your monthly amount by about 4% compared to just starting today. For some people, that lump sum is absolutely worth it. For others, the bigger lifetime check is worth far more. And that is a decision to make with your eyes wide open, not one to discover after the fact. But notice something, this same 6-month clock is the exact one that I warned you about back in question 1. The widow of a firefighter who never applied because the old rules zeroed her out. The retired teacher who assumed she was owed nothing at all. They are all standing in front of the very same window, and that window only reaches 6 months back from the day they finally ask. The rules reward the people who ask, and they quietly keep the money of the people who do not. So here is where you stand. 6 questions, and just 1 yes is all it takes. A pension from public work could mean thousands of dollars in back pay under the Fairness Act, but only if your application actually exists. A marriage of 10 years that ended in divorce could be worth up to half of your former spouse's benefit, without them ever knowing a thing. Losing a spouse opens up a survivor benefit of up to 100%, and the Inspector General just confirmed this April that the agency fails to explain the filing choices to 4 out of every 10 widows that it reviews. Working while collecting early means withheld money that comes right back to you at full retirement age, along with yearly recalculations that can raise your check all on their own. An income under roughly $1,800 a month can erase your Part B premium and lift your deposit by $202.90. And filing late can unlock a 6-month lump sum as long as you understand the trade-off that comes with it. None of these are theories. Every single one of them is an active federal rule as of 2026, printed on the government's own websites. And there is not one person at the agency whose job is to call you about any of them. The money is sitting there, with your name on it, and it will just go on sitting there. So do one thing before you close this video. Send it to one person you know who is divorced or widowed or retired from a school, a firehouse, or a government office. Because the odds are very good that at least one of these 6 questions is their question, and they have no idea that the answer is already yes.